Hi, my name is Sam Johnson and I am a voice teacher. Today I will be reacting to and analyzing Thundercat performing Them Changes featuring Ariana Grande. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey. Skillshare offers thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people, including classes on photography, design, illustration, freelancing, and more. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. One class that looks really awesome to me right now is Productivity for Creatives. Build a System That Brings Out Your Best by Thomas Frank. This class grabbed me with the first line of the description when he says, "Turns out inspiration isn't a muse, it's a muscle, and you have the power to make it stronger." I love that. I love learning about different creatives' methods of how they're able to channel all of their weirdness into getting stuff done. I love the idea of creativity and inspiration being a muscle that you can practice, because it makes people like me who feel sometimes really creative and other times not really creative, like we can start progressing with that and make it so that it's a choice to sit down and get some work done every day, and you get better and better and better at it. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description below will get a free trial of premium membership so that you can explore your creativity. Okay, first off, his bass playing is phenomenal. Thundercat is one of my favorite musicians. This is one of my favorite songs by Thundercat. I saw him live a few years ago and he was killer good. He is so good. If you haven't listened to Thundercat and you like modern funk stuff, jazz fusion, trip hop, any of that stuff, go listen to some Thundercat, listen to what he's done with Flying Lotus. He is an incredible musician. So just getting that out of the way, that I am extraordinarily biased towards this guy. I think he's got a really great singing voice too, and we'll see how he sings the song. But just the stuff he does with bass, it's some of my favorite musicianship out there right now.
Nobody move, there's blood on the floor, and I can't find my heart. Where did it go? Did I leave it in the cold? So please give it back, 'cause it's not yours to take.
So far, he's going up to the F. On the first one, I can't find my heart. He goes to that my. He kind of opens it up, makes it a little bit brighter. Everything leading up to it is quite quiet, so he has a little bit of room to get louder as he starts going up to that higher note, which I thought worked really well. And then Ari's just doing third harmonies on top. A lot of people ask how to start learning how to sing harmonies. I think the biggest thing, the easiest thing, the best thing is to find singers who harmonize in a way that you think sounds really good and memorize it. Like, you just have to memorize a lot of music to start learning how to listen in that way. But you can use kind of left brain and go down and just be like, okay, they're singing an F, I'll go up a third, and then just go down a third. If you're singing a third above or a third below whatever the main melody is, it's likely going to sound good. If you're singing a sixth above or below, it's likely going to sound good. If you're singing a seventh above or below and you're doing that for more than just like one note, it's probably not going to sound as good. But it's going to take a bunch of time memorizing how other people hear and what's kind of conventionally acceptable before you're able to start improvising. So just go memorize what really good singers do.
It must have felt when I lost my mind. Sleep in a cup, drowning in pain.
Good. So he goes up to his falsetto. She makes her sound a lot breathier as soon as he goes up to falsetto because she's listening to that tonal quality. And if she had a much less breathy tone, she would take over. And she's doing a really good job of staying with him, not kind of taking the lead of everything, but just making him sound better by being there. And that's what really good singers do. What good harmonizers do is they don't make it about themselves. They make whoever they're performing with sound really, really good.
Somebody tell me how I'm supposed to feel when I'm sitting here knowing this ain't real. Why in the world would I give my heart to you, baby? Just to watch you throw it in the trash.
So she's keeping everything in this middle part of her range. The highest note she's gone to so far in this solo section is the B flat. For her, that's like not at all a high note, but she's still mixing it in a way that it sounds like she could continue going a lot higher and be really successful with it. Ari, in her middle voice, I never really hear her get super heavy. It always sounds like she has the flexibility to start doing a lot of high agility, high pitch stuff. And I think that that's a really cool thing, but it also has just kind of developed her style. And it's like really awesome when someone's style is actually helpful with good technique. And I think that a lot of times when we are doing voice lessons on people who don't really sing as well, they're searching for a lot more of the stylistic things, but they do it in a way that sacrifices the technique. So my goal as a voice teacher is to help people get really good technique so that they can be like, oh, this feels really good. This sounds really easy. This feels and sounds good. That they'll generally start thinking of as their sound, and their style will kind of emerge out of it rather than just saying like, oh, I like what Ariana does this. I like what Demi does here or Christina does here. I'm going to just copy that exactly. And I think there's an element of like learning what great singers do and memorizing it and kind of copying musical ideas. But if we're trying to copy vocal styles, a lot of times it becomes a lot more restrictive because if you don't fit exactly what they're doing, you're probably going to beat yourself up. Where I think with her, like she just sings well. And you can tell that she's learned from listening to really good singers, and she's kind of copied the stylistic things that she doesn't do all of this stuff just out of a vacuum. There's history behind it, but it still doesn't sound like she's trying to make herself sound like someone else. And I think that's a really good thing. It's totally arguable and fair to say I don't like the style that she does, I don't like the tone that she does, but it's like pretty authentically her, and I wouldn't really want to change that.
So long, I don't think I can hold on. Where were you when I needed you the most? Now I'm sitting here with a black hole in my chest.
Now he's doing all of those same sort of harmonies, a third above, likely for a lot of it, but he's doing it all in falsetto, and his voice is so much lighter than hers in that area that, again, he doesn't steal focus. So they're not only playing with which of them is singing the top line or the bottom line, they're also playing with who's singing the breathier tone, the quieter tone, or the more full tone, and it's that give and take that makes our ears say, that's a melody rather than a harmony. And we're kind of home. So they went away with that solo section, away from the standard chord changes that they were doing. I'm not a great jazz person. I can't really, and I don't have the best ear for harmonic progressions, but like you don't hear people do that a lot in pop music, and I really love it. I love that Thundercat is able to bring these kind of inaccessible, free jazzy type things to more traditional pop music. And I wouldn't say at all that like any of his music is just straight up pop music, but it's crossing over, and the collaborations that he's done with more actual pop musicians, like it's bleeding over his influence, and I love what he's doing.
Nobody move, there's blood on the floor.
Jeez.
And I can't find my heart.
So both of them coming in so cleanly with the words and the melody and everything, and having it be just perfect right when they come on, that shows that through all of that improvisation, through all of that journeying away from the home base, the tonal home base, they still knew where home was all the time. So like, even though they're on this big epic journey, whatever, they still have a way to come back home. They're not losing that tonal center. That's so important. It's really difficult to kind of go that far away from home base, not have as many references back to it, and still know where you are at home. And that just shows like they're really well skilled. They're great musicians. They listen really well. That's something that you can start developing. And it's just like, I do it mostly with major scale. I am kind of a baby and I don't venture away from it as much as I should. But if you're doing like acapella exercises like you kind of have to do online, and I say do ma 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 ma, like that ma, that first one is the home bass. This top one, it's the same home bass, but there are these two notes in the middle that you have to know how they relate to home bass. And that's like really, really basic of just the 3 and the 5 compared to the 1. But what they're doing is they're going over to weird chromaticism. They still have the 1 in their head. They have it the entire time. But if you start by just doing with like a ma 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 ma, you kind of have to have that first note in your head the whole time, or else all of the other ones start sounding a little bit funky.
Where did it go? Did I leave it in the go? So please give it back, 'cause it's not yours to take. It must have found when I lost my mind. The vinegar turning in that pain. Somebody help, 'cause I can't find my way. Nobody move, nobody move.
That's sick. I love them. Oh my gosh, and I want those shoes.
Yeah.
I need to be 6'10" and wear those shoes. They're great musicians. I love to see Ariana do like things that aren't just singing. I do different things because I am such a big fan of Ariana Grande, but just my personal opinion, I haven't loved as many of her recent songs compared to some of her earlier catalog, just because like I haven't found them as easy to sing along with. I like them still, but like I'm a weirdo and a picky weirdo, and I love seeing her go over to this other stuff and just seeing the different parts of her musicianship. Every time that I see different things that she's capable of, it just reaffirms what she's doing as a choice. She could do it all these other ways. It doesn't matter. Like, she's doing it what she thinks is best to express herself in that moment. Thundercat's great. Go listen to Thundercat. His new record, I think, is awesome. Yeah, I love it. I really miss live music. Like, that's a big thing about this, is just watching a live concert with good musicians like this. It's always going to be a little bit different from what you know on the record, and I am there for it. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Go check out all of my other videos. A comment, go check out Thundercat. You know the drill. Ring the bell, all of those things. Thank you.